I have a friend who converted in October and 4 weeks ago, and I could not go to the family celebration. And I wish her and the Lopez family a Mazel Tov. So when I have company in my home, I like to have accessible prayer books or sacred text with which I can refer to things that I talk about when people ask me questions about my Hasidic upbringing. So the smallest one I have today that I purchased is Prayers for Women Around the Jewish Year, which Saifa HaTechinos. And this is what is used as the most recent version of what used to be called a Tzenerena, where it had Yiddish little murmurations for a woman for any time in her life. And the table of content is these epic moments when you would sit down and say something. So, for example, here's for fast days, on a fast day, on a specific fast day named whatever. Then for festivals, candle lighting for the 3 major festivals, after reciting the 13 attributes of the Shalosh Regalim, which is the 3 festivals that used to be Mecca to Jerusalem. Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh on the Sabbath and the first of the lunar month. And then there are sort of like random, and these are my favorites. A prayer from the morning prayer of Rav Saadia Gaon, Tefillah of Repentance by Rabbeinu Yonah, a woman's prayer, page 9. Let's see what a woman's prayer on page 9 says. Well, you notice I'm turning from right to left. And the reason I got this, and I'm so happy that I did, is because here it was at Eichler's $23.99. It's got the Hebrew from right to left alongside the English on the left. So it's a woman's prayer in English. To the Eternal, the God of Yisrael, who rests his presence upon the Keruvim, may God, my God and the God of my fathers, I beseech you from the depth of my heart to have mercy on me as a father has mercy on his children. Kerachim av al banim. I have a composition that I wrote, Kerachim av, on my YouTube that I just need an orchestra and a full choir to play it and perform it. So if you know anyone, hit me up with a choir director. Must be orchestras. Okay, so we're done with the prayers for women. The next size, because I'm unpacking smallest. This one is the complete Artscroll Siddur. It's a complete prayer book. Complete means it also has psalms and other miscellaneous things that you don't necessarily pray for specific times of the day. So a prayer book is meant for every single day. So you have to have all days of the year in it. The price was $24.99 at Eichler's. And the Artscroll printers, they make unbelievable typesetting that is so accessible to so many audiences. It has the page numbers in English, which is a huge upgrade from any other prayer books because they would have Hebrew numbering. And if you're new and if you've never been taught how to read the Hebrew alphabet, then you can't even find a page number and participate. So this is accessible. It's got English, and on the left it tells you the English of where we're up to in the book. So you always know where you're up to. It says this one is Kabbalah Shabbos, which is what you want for Friday night. From candle lighting up until you go to sleep Friday night. It's in this particular prayer. So what I like to do when I have company for Shabbat is open up to actually this section, and I like to sing this Kabbalah from candle lighting for about an hour and a half if we have musician friends, and then we sit down for the Friday night Shabbat meal, and that's when I can keep going on and on and on for the blessing on the wine that starts the meal. So it's nice that everything here has the Hebrew from right to left, which is easiest for me because English is like my seventh language. So like Hebrew, I'll never forget how to read. It's a cognitive skill from early childhood. English, I only started like in my 30s. So the Artscroll will also give you the instructions in the services, like whose time it is to chant and whose time it is to respond, when it's time to sit and when it's time to stand, when it's time to twirl and a chicken over your head. True story. Okay, so we're done with the complete Artscroll Siddur. And I got the one with the blue, and so that I can find the blue from the gold from a bookshelf because of vision. So this is my very, very exciting. This is the Zucker edition, but Zucker has got a European spelling. Zucker edition, C-Z-U-K-E-R. So this is a Bifas, Hamazon, and Zmiros, translated and transliterated. Say what? Okay, so first of all, the blessings after a meal that involves breaking bread is enough of a meal to be called not a snack, so you wash for it. You then have to make a longer blessing after meal grace that takes about 5.5 minutes timed. Yeah, I timed it as a kid. Oh well, I am who I am. So here I bought a 10 or 12 or 6 or 8 pack. Berachas Hamazon set and Zmiras H/ET leather. That doesn't tell me how many, so we have to count. 1. That's why we get these tactile, so I can count with declining vision. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an 8 pack. It's got this really smooth tactile cover, so you can grip it because of the gold foil. It stays in your hand, even if you're trying to make a after meal grace. So this whole book is not just the after meal grace, but also what you eat during a meal and how you start a meal with the blessing on the wine. So like, for example, here's Yom Hashishi, that's Friday night on a wine goblet. So the reason I got this particular company is because it is an Artscroll series, but it's the Zucker edition, which has the Hebrew from right to left. The next line is giving you the how to pronounce it. So that's a transliteration phonetically. And then underneath in a different color is the translation in English so that you could see what you're saying while other people are saying it. And you can start making connections between the ch sound and what letter is the ch sound. So that when you see that ch, you can say, all right, in the future I'll know how to read this whole word, but at least I know that I'm going to have to come to a ch sound somewhere in the word, beginning, middle, or end. The difficult ones are the ones that have 3 chs. Okay, I'm making my own jokes here. All right, so I love this, and I bought a whole set so that we could all break bread together with my Irish friends and the Lopez family. So yeah, that's how I do it. That's how I roll. And finally, the most cherished, and I left it for last, is I bought this for my friend. Like I said, she converted in October, and her new name, her Hebrew name is Bat El, B-A-T-E-L. E-L is God's name, the elevated version of God's name. And then Bat is the daughter of, so O-L, Bat El she is. So this is beautiful. It's a completely rainbow-colored set of the 5 holidays where you need a prayer book that is in addition to a daily siddur. So these are Maxorim. A Maxor is a holiday-specific book from beginning to end. Includes, as my mother would say, shul and meal, from synagogue to meal, this is what you need for the holidays. So for Rosh Hashanah, you get a pink one. So what does it say on Rosh Hashanah? In the Artscroll series, there are some acknowledgments in English. There's the preface, and then there's an overview. There's an overview. Day of Judgment and Purpose. Blah, 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 blah. The Holy One, blessed is He, said, on Rosh Hashanah, recite before me verses that speak of God's sovereignty, remembrance of all events, and shofar blasts. Sovereignty, so that you should make me your king. Semicolon, good use of semicolon. Remembrance, so that your remembrance should rise up before me for your benefit. And through what? Through the shofar. I did not prepare my props. And this comes from the passages marked Rosh Hashanah. It gives a citation, 16a, 34b. So there's more to this. So it's really like a primary text that is a primary resource that is a novel innovation of the post-Holocaustic Jews that came to New York through Ellis Island as refugees, unwilling refugees, who are resenting that their refugee status, having to leave their lifestyle. So they're acting out in Brooklyn, like my childhood, the Hasidim, who went completely nuts after the war, made all these restrictions on their family members that led me to this point in my life where I now have family of choice. These are people in my immediate community and friends from afar who travel to have a Shabbat with me and make it musical and make it beautiful and make it accessible. So that's the end of my unpacking live video, and thank you for lasting 13 minutes. Woohoo! Like, click, subscribe, or comment. Give me a thumbs up so you can bump my algorithm. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Okay.